Tribal Greymon. Several viewers asked me to do this build, and boy was this quite a challenge. This list underwent not one, not two, but 5 separate revisions. Each list was pitted against Yellow Hybrid, Purple Cherubimon, and Blue Hybrid. It took 5 revisions before I could start taking games from Blue and put Yellow to even 0 security, and even then, pure Tribal is difficult. And again, if there is a specific Tribal build or deck profile you'd like to see, drop a comment in this video. Otherwise, if you enjoy these types of videos, do consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that notification bell for future content. As always, I'll go over the card by card, the strengths, the weaknesses, the combos, and the side deck. This deck runs 5 level 2s, 13 level 3s, 11 level 4s, 7 level 5s, 4 level 6s, 4 level 7s, 3 option cards, and 8 Tamers. For level 2s, this deck runs 1 Upamon and 4 starter deck Demi-Vmon. You might be thinking, what the heck, Digi-Panda, 1 Upamon? Trust me, in games against Yellow, you draw pretty much your entire deck. Upamon is in this deck for the reason that when you swing against opponents with Digimon with no Digivolution sources, you get to draw a card. While with Demi-Vmon, you get an additional plus 1000 DP buff going into the security when you have 8 or more cards in your hand. While you'll normally find me advocating for card draw over DP buffs, Blue is one of the few decks that has a lot of ways to draw extra cards, but not enough DP buffs. You could put the 3 Upamons in your side deck, but I have other ideas for that instead. For level 3s, this deck runs 13 in the form of 2 BT1 Gabumon, 3 BT5 Gabumon, 4 BT6 Gabumon, 2 lldoitagain, and 2 EX1 Gabumon. BT1 Gabumon is just a generic slapdown for a draw 1. It's not run at a max of 4 for the fact that you aren't playing BT1 Metal Garurumon. BT5 Gabumon helps add potentially your 1 of Omnimon and a Digimon with Garurumon in its name. BT6 Gabumon is your crucial rookie that you'll want to keep in the raise. While you could place Gabumon on the battlefield and gain memory with your mats, you don't run the full 4 of, making this not that amazing of a strategy. Because while mat can be used for potential Gabumon plays, the hybrid format makes this a much more risky play. Because the deck is less aggro than the Tribal Greymon counterpart, lldoitagain has been slotted to 2 to ensure that Pokémons aren't abused. And finally, Classic Collection Gabumon for that inheritable Tamer search and Gabumon search. This Tribal Garurumon build looks more for a toolbox method and control aspect than going for aggression. In the first variant of the build that I made, the focus was heavily aggression, but for the BT7 format, this is not the correct route to approach. For substitutions, adjusting your ratios of each rookie will align your style of play more one way or another. Arguably, if you decide to go the more aggro approach, you'll definitely want to change up the top line of this specific deck profile. For level 4s, this deck runs 11 in the form of 3 BT5 Garurumon, 2 Korikakumon, 2 EX1 Garurumon, and 4 P007 Garurumon. BT5 Garurumon gives you a generic plus 1000 DP buff on both turns if your Digimon contains Omnimon or Garurumon in its name. In addition, it can be digivolved into for an evolution cost of 1 on the battlefield if it's thrown on top of a Gabumon. Korikakumon is your generic hybrid for not only finishing the game by going on top of a Tamer, but for stunning your opponent's Digimon as well. While this Digimon effect will only proc on a Tamer, you have an excess of those in this build. Classic Collection Garurumon offers you ways to play your Mat Ishidas for free when attacking into the security as an inheritable. And the last Garurumon lets you draw a card when attacking. Keep in mind that this effect is not limited to once per turn. And again, not a whole lot of substitutions here, but if you were to end up playing the BT1 top-end Metal Garurumon, I would suggest dropping the Classic Collection Garurumons and possibly a portion of the P007 Garurumons instead for that BT1 restanding Garurumon. For level 5s, this deck ultimately ended up with 7 in the form of 3 Were Garurumon Sagittarius mode and 4 P008 Were Garurumon. Sagittarius mode provides you some jamming and an additional Digivolution up for a memory cost of 1 off your promo Were Garurumon, which in itself is a beast. In combination with promo Garurumon, you can swing and restand since you have a Garurumon Digimon underneath it. Digivolve into Were Garurumon Sagittarius mode for additional shenanigans. Only substitutions I had previously were Classic Collection Were Garurumon for the extra draw and memory when attacking. While useful, having that Wear Garurumon Sagittarius mode as an option, jamming 2 extra checks, is nice. Because of my desire for that consistency, I went with 3 Sagittarius modes instead. For level 6s, this deck runs 4 in the form of Promo Metal Garurumon. Not BT1 Metal Garurumon, not BT5 Metal Garurumon, but the promo one. After a lot of playtesting against blue and yellow, BT1 Metal Garurumon may provide extra security checks, but providing that ammunition for your opponent to gain more memory in the blue matchup can result in Metal Garurumon losing the rest of its evolution sources, and also being stunned for pretty much the rest of the game. In the yellow matchup, I can't tell you how many times I hit Schwartz Lasats, wiping my expanded board anyway, and them getting extra memory off TK and Kari. While BT5 Metal Garurumon could be useful, I ultimately went with the Promo Metal Garurumon for one major fact: it can't be attacked. In the yellow matchup, test matches made it easy to swing over a BT1 Metal Garurumon with Seraphimon, which was a good trade-off for them. But Promo Metal Garurumon, you have only 1 or 2 outs in yellow, and that's Wyvern's Breath or Shine Greymon. For level 7s, this deck runs 3 copies of Gabumon Bond of Friendship, and unexpectedly, 1 BT1 Omnimon. Hilariously, my original build was going to be Blitz Omnimon, but I was lazy and wanted to proxy the Blitz Omni and a spare BT1 Omnimon I had lying around. But in actual playtesting, BT1 Omnimon as a 1-of is actually super helpful. It was very satisfying clearing 3 Jet Sylphies since my wife couldn't find the level 6s. Gabumon on the other hand is in this deck for several reasons. First, you can Digivolve into it off of BT6 Gabumon assuming Matt Ishida is in play for a 3 security check swing for game. Second, there are a wide variety of ways you can potentially OTK your opponent in 1 turn, depending on your memory situation. But again, I'll be discussing all the fun combos in the combo section. For option cards, this deck runs 3 in the form of 2 Howling Memory Boost and 1 Ice Wall. Howling Memory Boost is still an amazing option card in today's format, because Howling Memory boosting a Bokomon can be the difference between game on board. Similarly, Ice Wall is another option card that can be played defensively to stall your opponent 1 more turn. There aren't a lot of substitutes to consider in the option card section other than Hammer Spark, but in my playtesting, Hammer Spark never felt great for the fact that your top 3 matchups in the hybrid format are Blue Hybrid, Yellow Hybrid, and Cherubimon. All have access to memory blockers that leave this card very lackluster, and Howling Memory Boost can at least serve as a secondary function to stall 1 turn. But Hammer Spark in general becomes a dead card. Finally, Tamers in the form of 3 Davis Motomiya, 2 Sora Takanuchi and Joe Kido, and 3 BT6 Matt Ishida. Davis Motomiya needs to be run at 3, specifically because fixing your memory will give you the best advantage. Not to mention it's going to be an inherent card advantage by finding additional combo pieces. Sora and Joe adds another benefit for memory, since in the hybrid format the most popular decks will typically slam down Bokomon, Neemon, or some hybrid searcher. And lastly, Matt Ishida from BT6 for extra memory and card draw when you push a Gabumon or Garurumon out of the raids. Not only can you gain extra memory and draw more cards when you push, but this gives you the ability to warp Digivolve your Gabumon into Gabumon Bond of Friendship. With 3 checks and typically Tamers in the security, there's not a lot that can delete Gabumon Bond of Friendship when going into the security. For strengths and weaknesses, this deck has the amazing capability of drawing cards. In one playtest game I drew so much that I had only 1 card left in the deck, playing against yellow, which ultimately is why I decided to make Upamon a secondary egg instead of the primary. Additionally, this deck has an amazing offense that requires hard removal most of the time. While most decks don't presently use removal or hard removal against level 6s and 7s, this is what can make this deck extremely aggravating to deal with. For weaknesses, this deck does suffer from the typical weaknesses of aggro, similar to what I covered for last week's episode. BT4 Karikamiya is a huge stall against this deck that can pull particularly aggressive swings that would normally end games, into a huge recovery their next turn. Additionally, one thing that I never really talked about in deck profiles is does the deck do better going first or second? And arguably, this deck wants to go second. In the current meta, you can easily climb from level 3 to level 5 in your raise for some insane swings for the next turn. But do be wary of the potential Schwartz Lasats when attacking because that can end your aggression into security. For combos, this deck has the primary objective of aggressively taking security. Assuming you go second and your opponent hard slaps a Bokomon their opening turn or even a Tamer with a memory cost of 3. This means that you'll start your turn with 3 memory. Going up your evolution line into your Gabumon, Garurumon, and Garurumon can be a great way to pass back to your opponent for 2 memory. Because what are they going to do? You don't have any Digimon out there to stun, strip, or delete. For the crackback, when you swing with Garurumon, you now have the capability to draw 1 card and then restand with Garurumon's passive effect, if it has the Garurumon underneath it. With Demi-Vmon, your Garurumon would need to hit level 5s or higher in order to have any negative counterplays happen. However, you can Digivolve into a Garurumon Sagittarius mode for a meager cost of 1 memory. It's not memory reduction, and you don't gain any memory back, so you're good to swing again this time with the protection of jamming. Remember, going second, this means that you would have drawn 1 card to put you to 6. Digivolving would maintain your hand count at 6. With the following turn, you'd be at 7 cards, and swinging with Garurumon would put it to 8. Digivolving into Garurumon Sagittarius mode keeps you at 8, but Garurumon's effect is not once per turn, meaning your second swing on turn 2 hits for 3 security. In an ideal board setup against blue, you pass back the turn by Digivolving into Promo Metal Garurumon. By doing so, you now have a Digimon on board that cannot be attacked, has security check +1, and draws you a card when it attacks. In the present meta, with blue hybrid being the dominant deck, they have to commit multiple resources in order to strip that Metal Garurumon of all its evolution sources and stun it. The only exception to this would be if they happen to reveal Tamihimi earlier when you attack, because that would already strip your Garurumon Sagittarius of its evolution sources. For the final turn, assuming they give you 3, this allows you to Digivolve into Gabumon Bond of Friendship. With that specific Gabumon underneath it, you can swing a total of 3 times into their security for 6 potential checks. While BT1 Metal Garurumon would have been extremely aggressive, preventing your opponent from swinging and crashing into your Metal Garurumon forces them to commit board removal cards to get rid of it. For yellow, the only cards that can remove Metal Garurumon right now are Wyvern's Breath, Shine Greymon if they have the Tamers out, and Suzanomon. Finally, for side deck, because Ultimate Cups are not utilizing them, I'm honestly not sure if they'll be on the videos moving forward. However, they are still useful for local builds. Also do keep in mind that this video is not updated with the fact that side decks are now limited to 5 cards instead of 10. For side decks, this deck runs the following cards: 2 Sayakomon for memory blocking against your opponent's hybrid evolutions, 2 additional Madoki Batamon for memory blocking those pesky Bokomon, 2 Kumamon to swap out the Korikakumon or Garurumons in general if your opponent's inheritables are causing some issues, 2 BT5 Blitz Omnimon if Gabumons aren't cutting it, and you just need a Blitz finisher overall instead. And last but not least, 2 Forbidden Trident. With Forbidden Trident, you can guarantee your Garurumon doesn't die to level 5 Digimon in the security, and you can restand, go into Sagittarius mode, and if it's still your turn, swing for 2 more checks potentially if you have 8 cards in hand. But do keep in mind, you're sending back rookies on their field back to their hand. Again, this deck profile underwent several revisions, and Yellow Hybrid is still probably my least favorite deck to play against this format for the amount of recovery that it can pull off. But this is also going to be an interesting What If Wednesday for this week. Stay tuned if you're interested for the What If These Cards Were Restricted or Errata'd. But I digress. Garurumon Tribal had many successful games against Blue Hybrid, but against the Yellow and Purple Hybrid builds, be patient and play carefully. And with the addition of Gabumon Bond of Friendship, this elevated the deck to multiple evolution routes. Not only are you limited to Digivolving up 1 level at a time, but you can also warp straight into your level 6 for game enders. What are your thoughts on this build in particular? What do you like or dislike? Let me know in the comments below. This is Digi-Panda, logging out.